RJ Harvey going to Saturn. Not the moon, not Mars, but
to Saturn.
To Saturn as his stock goes up every single minute. But yet people aren't reacting. I'm not seeing the adjustment yet. I think he will climb a ton, and not just dynasty value, but redraft value in the coming weeks and months. But right now, I'm not seeing the adjustment and an adaptation to what this kid is likely to be in Denver as the joker of the offense. We heard that maybe the joker of the offense, meaning the every, all over the field gadget player, but not just in a small capacity, like literally do it all players, what the joker essentially means, the joker role in a Sean Payton offense. We thought maybe Ingram could be a little bit of that joker, and he still could do some things like that. But RJ Harvey, the do-it-all player, is climbing my board like wildfire. So much so that we put him on a little list, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm not unveiling just a Saturn man.
The Saturn man.
Which he is. Step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
Which he is. But I give you, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the 8th and final supernova.
There are handfuls of Saturn, Mars, and Moon men, but only 8 can be supernovas. I give you the 8 best picks in fantasy football.
They are the 8 supernovas.
Look how beautiful this looks. Right here. Here we go. Hold on. We're close. There he is. Standing ovation. Look at him. The generals, the council, the graduates from last year.
I'm looking at the 8.
Drop a supernova emoji. Drop a joker card emoji.
The magnificent 8.
Liftoff of mission 41D, the first flight of the orbiter Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So, lots of news to go over today. A lot of running back news. We're going to dip into some of yesterday's news because it is Monday, and maybe some people didn't watch the show yesterday, but I'll roll through it all. We got Joe Milton news. Amari Cooper could be going back to Dallas. We got a whole bunch of news. We got the prank calls given to freaking Isaiah Bond and also Shedeur that just were disastrous. Let's first and foremost talk about RJ Harvey, who is the man of the hour, the Nova man, the Saturn man. Broncos GM Payton thinks RJ Harvey can keep going upward as a receiver. This is a guy, might I remind people, we talked about it briefly on the earlier show, a guy that was so phenomenal in the receiving department. Let me show you these stats right here. These are astronomically crazy. You got a guy that caught 20 passes, and I don't want you to focus on that number. 20 passes. And he has 267, 338 with 19 passes, 215 with 22. These are numbers you would expect from like a 30 or 40 reception season. He had 13.4 yards per catch, 12.5. More importantly, 2 and 3 TDs. 5 TDs in less than 40 receptions in college with a long of 50 and a long of 75. This guy is a yard-breaking monster, a big play. This is why he's the joker. Big play capability. Even look at his longs on the rushing. He had 61, 92, and 80. He's a big play guy. And Sean Payton is reportedly gushing over this kid. And they were afraid he wouldn't be there. They were afraid he wouldn't be there. And everyone says, oh, second round. They didn't take a running back in round 1. They wanted to take him. They thought about taking this kid so much earlier, but they're like, let's wait. And he fell. This was the guy that they were targeting. And you could say, this is similar to Gibbs. When Gibbs was that guy for the Lions, people were kind of like, this is early. What's going on? There are certain schemes, certain fits that make a ton of sense. And this one in particular is like a match made in heaven. It's a puzzle piece, and it comes right together. At the end of the day, RJ Harvey, as this talks right here, Peyton predictably gushed over their second round back, and Peyton telling reporters he had to tell himself to be quiet after watching Harvey. If Harvey is able to play in the passing game as Peyton suggests, it's possibly he becomes the Joker of the offense in 2025. The Joker. That is the best thing you could ever hear for a running back. The Joker doesn't just mean he catches balls and he runs the football. It means he's the do-it-all player, the player that is constantly getting the football, the Puka Nacua, but in the running back variety. Harvey's going to the mother freaking moon. And at the end of the day, we had a good discussion earlier, and this goes for Dynasty too. I don't care if he's 24 years old. Yes, he's 24 years old. I know that pisses some people off. You'd rather have a 22 turning 23 player in Henderson. You'd rather have a just turned 22 player in Hampton. I get it. Dynasty worlds are going to be that way. They're going to be real fickle about this thing. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, this age difference doesn't matter to me. Not in Dynasty. Not when Dynasty leagues break up more than divorce than marriages in the country. The divorce rates are higher than the divorce rates are lower than the Dynasty crumbles in fantasy football worlds now these days. Play for the now and the future mixed together. 24 years old, just starting his career. He's going to play 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. That's 5 years before you have that hold your breath season. He's going to go to age 28. What are we doing? Are we really freaking out about a young kid? Now, it's a little different when you look at like Tyrone Tracy, who's not an elite player, and he's 26 years old or something like that. That's different because he's expendable, and now Scatterboo comes in. Scatterboo coming in.
Let him cook.
The Scatman's in New York. And that's why that's why you worry about Tracy, right? You worry about Tracy because he's 26 years old, and fumbles the ball, fumbles his job away, gets it back because there's no one else to give it to. It's like, Tracy, you fumbled the ball away, but like, what do we do? Here's the ball back. Like, we benched you, but here you go. And you think he's going to be okay escaping the NFL draft? I don't think so. Scatterboo's coming for his job. This is not a Scatterboo video. We'll have a Scatterboo video. You mark my words. We're having a Scatterboo video.
In outer space.
Dropped on the Moon Man list January 1, by the way. Won't be coming back for a Scatterboo video. Don't you worry. But this guy, Harvey's going to the moon. And you might in Dynasty have a little bit more of a concern going, do I take Hampton? Do I take Henderson? Or do I take Harvey? Genty's the one, but at the end of the day, Harvey deserves consideration for the number 2 overall pick. Not just number 2 overall running back, the number 2 overall pick in Dynasty. In redraft, it's even more complex because you sit here and you go, I love Henderson. We got Henderson news as well. This is good and bad news on the Trevion Henderson. The reason I say it's bad is because I got to be honest with the wording. It's the GM. It's not the head coach. But anytime a GM says something negative, if the Bears GM came out, Ryan Poulsen said something negative, we report it. So I'm being fair and honest and unbiased. This is both a good and a bad statement. The Patriots GM, Elliott Wolf, said that the team sees Trevion Henderson as a 3-down back. That's fantastic. And then says, and a really good compliment. That makes you feel like, well, what does that mean? What's he talking about? What's he mean compliment? Compliment to what? He's a 3-down back or he's not. So to be fair, that is a statement that you are going to dig into and you're going to be a little bit worried about until you get clarification. That's the nature of fantasy. But the thing about Harvey is there's no questions. So that's why when I say in redraft, Dynasty, Henderson's going to the mother freaking Jupiter, okay? Henderson is so far on track for Jupiter. He already landed in Dynasty. In redraft, if we're being completely honest, there's a little bit more concern about Judkins and Henderson and Hampton. These are all guys that are sharing carries in some way or another. I do believe that talent will shine through. Mitch, I see your super chat. I'm coming right for you, pal. Trevion Henderson has the best capability of overcoming even negative potential, kickstarting of his career. Like, let's say they say this is going to be a split backfield in New England. We hear them say the words. This guy's the best pass blocking running back in college football. And he's already just walking into the NFL, one of the best pass blocking backs in the National Football League immediately. And if protecting Drake May is numero uno, and they go out and they draft an offensive lineman in the top 4 to help protect Drake May, they draft this kid to help protect Drake May. What do you think they're going to do when push comes to shove and they need to protect Drake May? They're shoving Henderson onto the field. Now, Stevenson could get some early down work, and this guy play more of the Gibbs role, but he is perfectly fit for that because he's such a great pass catcher. He can even be on the field at the same time, complementing the running game, essentially, is what I take from this. At the end of the day, Judkins isn't in that situation. Judkins is going to get limited by the presence of Dylan Sampson, who the team and the GM, and the GMs are doing a lot of speaking this week. Browns GM Andrew Berry said that Dylan Sampson is untapped potential in the passing game. And they said Judkins is going to be the bell cow that can carry the load for us. So Judkins is going to get the early down work. Sampson's untapped in the receiving department and the better back anyway. I had him rated over Judkins before the draft. So you think I'm going to change my mind? No. So do I think Dylan Sampson's not in the most ideal situation? Yes, I don't like this situation. I want him to be the only back in Cleveland. Just like Judkins owners wanted him to be the only back in Cleveland. That's cloudy. That's cloudy as hell. And the better back is Dylan Sampson. Whether you want to believe me or not, I could care less. I'm just here to tell you what I believe. And Hampton, while Hampton's by far and away the best back in his situation, unlike Judkins, and you can say what you want in the comments, so you can call into the show and argue with me about it. It's not even a knock on Judkins. It's not a knock on Judkins. I like Judkins. He's very talented. But Dylan Sampson, I had ranked higher. What do you think I'm going to do? Change my mind? And Hampton's light years ahead of Najee. But Chargers coach, more of a decision maker than a GM in terms of the usage, right? So we got GMs talking out of pocket potentially. And then we got now a head coach, Jim Harbaugh, who talks out of pocket all the time. But he's the head coach. He's a decision maker. He said he plans to deploy Najee Harris and Hampton as a 1-2 punch. I look at Najee and Marion. Both starters is what Harbaugh said. So this is complicated. Does talent win out eventually? Sure. Do we look back 1 year from today? We're here April 28th, 2026. Smitty's in here, and I'm wearing a different shade of glasses. I got a different shirt on. Maybe it's not a collared shirt. Maybe I'm sitting here and I got a gray beard. I don't know. And I sit here and I look at you and I go, hello. I know a year ago today, Marion Hampton was drafted. If we extrapolate his last 10 games across 17 games, maybe it's 19 games, that season. They add a couple games because the commissioner's greedy. The NFL's greedy. And we extrapolate it, he's scoring mother freaking top 5 numbers over the course of 10 games extrapolated. So before you think I'm a Marion Hampton hater, I like him more than you do. All you complaining Caleb's out there that think because I like Henderson and Harvey so much that I like Hampton less than you, you're wrong. I like Hampton more than you. Just because I like Henderson and Harvey more doesn't define me. Doesn't define my love for the rookie running back. If you know anything about me at all, you know that I'm this Mr. Rookie running back monster. I'm a connoisseur. So me liking Hampton and Harvey over me liking Henderson and Harvey over Hampton means nothing when it comes to your value of Hampton versus my value of Hampton. I want them all. I'm walking into a draft and I'm licking my chops at this idea. I could get Hampton, Harvey, and Henderson in a redraft in a Best Ball Mania, which opened today, by the way. Underdog opened Best Ball Mania today. The weekly winners, I believe the other contest is out as well. So if you want to go draft on Underdog, promo code Smitty, hit the link right here. I'll pin the link in the live chat. The link's in the description of every video. Decker dropping 10 gifted memberships. Decker to the mother freaking moon. We got a super chat as well. We're going to get into those in just 1 second. I'm drafting. I'm doing this. And I'm doing it live. Hampton, Harvey, Henderson. Can I do that? Can I get away with that in a Best Ball Mania? I think I can. That means I come around with some sort of like Lamb and Bowers if I want to get crazy at wide receiver. Lamb, Bowers, Hampton, Harvey, Henderson, Mahomes, Charbonnet. We probably need wide receivers. So, imagine your wide receiver of choice. Or if, like, you had to get DK Metcalf or something, which I don't know if DK is going in 6 or 7 these days. We'll find out on Underdog. I'm trying to find a couple receivers. Debo. Let's put Debo up in this mug. Okay? Let's put Debo right here. And let's just say you go Dak and a bunch of, like, let's go Dak. Let's stack Dak with Lamb. So Dak in rounds 9, 10, 11, he goes in double-digit rounds. Dak and Lamb, you get a Bo Nix or Drake May or something like that. You get Dak and Fields, Bowers, Hampton, Harvey, Henderson, Debo. Who's not? Raise your hand if you're not winning with this team. Raise your hand if you're a scared money don't make money kind of guy. Anti-scared money don't make money kind of guy. Raise your hand if you're scared money make money guy. Raise your hand if you're not. Who's not winning with this team? Put a fire emoji if you take this team into battle like your boy Smitty. Put a fire emoji or an eggplant emoji, either one, if you're taking the Hampton, Harvey, Henderson train into mother freaking 2025. I know I am. I look at this and I say to myself, a little bit more redraft risk, a little more 2025 risk, no risk. Tiny bit more dynasty risk, no dynasty risk at all. That's what we're talking about here. Dynasty's a little bit different. Dynasty, I'm weighing toward Henderson by a hair, but this is arguably the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th overall player. And the only reason he's the 4th is because you got Henderson and you've got Marion Hampton, and then you got Harvey just right there. But why is this guy going 6, 7, 8 in dynasty leagues? I'm getting reports back from everybody showing me graphics and screenshots going, I got Harvey at 9. I got Harvey at 2.2. I got Harvey at 1.9, 1.8, 1.7. What are we doing? How long is this going to last? Because it makes me smile ear to ear when I know I can get Harvey at 1.5, let alone 1.6. You know what I'm going to end up doing? I'm going to end up blowing my wad at 1.5, 1.6, and I'll never know if he could have fallen to 1.7, 1.8. Let's say I got the 1.5 and 1.8 and 1.9 in every dynasty rookie draft I have. Just imagine that, just in fairy tale land. I got the 1.5, I got the 1.8 and the 1.9. That means I don't have the 1.6 or 1.7. But I have that in like 10 leagues, let's say. I'm blowing my wad at 1.5 in all of those drafts, and I'll never know. I'll never be able to tell my grandkids that I got RJ Harvey at 8 or 9. Because I'm taking him at 5, and I'm doing it live.
Let him cook.
Okay, so as I said, Joker, uncontested starter role. I've had a couple of people DM me like real weird DMs. It'd be more weird if you were outside my window at 11 o'clock at night, just scratching at the window going, Smitty. That would be more weird than DMing me and telling me that you really think Estime is undervalued and that you don't understand the RJ Harvey hype. That's weirder. That I call the cops on that. You DM me that, I'm worried about you. Unbelievable. Some of the weird things people are saying to me right now, trying to hang on to the value of the past because they own a guy like Estime. Hey, Estime in a dynasty league, Smitty. I really kind of think you're underestimating the guy, underestimating him. Are you underestimating him, Smitty? I don't know if you are or not. I can't tell. GM Andrew Berry again said that he can be the bell cow, Quinshon Judkins, but he also said untapped receiving potential for Dylan Sampson. So there's that. We got Harvey. And then again, just to be fair and to be honest about this situation and be unbiased, because that's what we do. Patriots GM giving a little bit of a mixed signal saying he's a 3-down back. Trevor Henderson's a 3-down back and a great compliment. What the hell does that mean? What's Vrabel going to do? But at the end of the day, he's the best pass blocker. He's in there. He's going to wiggle his way into the Gibbs role. And out of Judkins and Hampton, Trevion Henderson is the most Gibbs-like player. Hampton's JT. Quinshon Judkins is James Cook. And those guys are getting the grunt work on top of some receiving work. Henderson is the Breece Hall meets Gibbs. And you could regulate him to a 50% role. I'm not saying he will be. and he would thrive because he'd be catching a ton of passes and getting tons of targets. So it's a little bit different risk level for Henderson with these comments than it is with even a Hampton. So Hampton's going to be in a 1-2 punch. We don't know how long that'll last. Again, before you think for a moment that I don't love Hampton, I really believe that at the end of the year, he's going to be unstoppable, and he's one of the better best ball running backs to grab, especially in this third round value. In non-best ball, I'd rather draft Harvey and no Hampton in non-best ball than wait around for this to get to where we think it's going to get. And keep in mind that Gibbs was in the same boat when they drafted Gibbs extremely high. Remember when Detroit grabbed Gibbs inside the top 15? And everybody was like, what in the hell is going on? It did take them. They didn't use him in 1, 2, 3, 4. Didn't even play week 5 or 6. Didn't use Gibbs until week 7, and he became a top 5 running back down the stretch. He was a top 5 running back. He scored 11 touchdowns basically in this week 7 on. And that's what I kind of think Hampton's going to do. He's going to have more stats than that. He's going to be used way more than Gibbs was in weeks 1 through 7. So let me very much correct that and make sure you're not thinking that's what I'm saying. But I think that, again, we tell a story later to our grandkids about, remember when Marion Hampton was supposed to be a stud all year and he wasn't, but if you extrapolate his week 7 on, he's a top 5 running back. So Hampton in best ball will ball in, the more than the second half of the season. Okay. But there is some risk, inherent risk with this situation, just like there is with Judkins, just like there is admittedly with Trey Henderson. I just like the idea of him breaking out of that quicker. Jalen Milroe, you love these comments. Seattle head coach Mike McDonald said that Jalen Milroe is quarterback through and through. This is exactly what you wanted to hear, because I think I give Darnold week 10. I think Darnold gets replaced by injury or by just getting pulled by Jalen Milroe, who's going to cast such a big shadow over Darnold. I think Milroe starts by week 10, and I think he explodes. And this is such a great safety mechanism to have Milroe there behind Darnold for JSN. It makes me love JSN back in the 5 to 7 wide receiver range.
Mashed potatoes!
Quietly, nobody should be buying JSN at wide receiver 5 to 7. Don't be thinking that. Don't be getting crazy. Nobody should be starting Jalen Milroe before he ever gets the job. Nobody should be too overzealous, but I'm taking him in best ball as my third quarterback all the time, because you need something special sometimes, a little secret sauce in order to win a tournament or a contest in fantasy football best ball. And so I'm taking Milroe like crazy in the third quarterback territory. And I don't care what anybody thinks. They can say, oh, you're not going to get any points. Who cares? I don't care. Do I look like I care? No, I don't. Amari Cooper might be back with the Dallas Cowboys. This would be a great signing. I still think he's got a little more gas left in the tank than he appears coming out of this really bad marriage between the Buffalo Bills and Amari Cooper, where he went over, you thought he was going to ball out, and he didn't do anything. And everybody's assuming he's busted and done and washed. I don't think he is. I don't think he's the same receiver, but I think he's still got a little gas left in the tank. And if it's not Isaiah Bond to the Dallas Cowboys, who's still a free agent as far as I know. Did Bond sign in the last hour? I don't think he did, but if Isaiah Bond signs with Dallas, I'm ecstatic. If he signs with the Chiefs, I like that. I don't know if I like it. I just like that he's on a great team, but I want Isaiah Bond to go somewhere very, very fitting for him. Like Dallas would be great. So, but if not, Amari Cooper is fantastic. Mason Taylor, this according to just an athletic writer, says he believes Mason Taylor will walk into the Jets building and immediately take his place as a top tight end. This is not a crazy statement. This is just the truth. It's an obvious take, but it's a reminder for people to go target Mason Taylor, who honestly I think he could be pretty good. Do I think he'll ever be a Gronk or something? No, but like, could he be a Ferguson or a Hunter Henry in his prime, like score like that? Sure. Could he ever become a Mark Andrews type? Mark Andrews, speaking of the devil? Maybe. He's a good tight end option, and he's in a good spot. Ravens GM Eric DeCosta said that he expects Mark Andrews to remain with the Ravens. That's pretty evident now that the draft is over. Most trades like this would happen after or before the draft. And when the draft concludes, then it's no longer an option. Now, this guy right here, I don't know if you can see who this is, but I got to admit, I'm a little impressed by this workout. But there's something about this guy and his workout videos that didn't translate last year or the year prior. His knees have been mangled. I don't think he's going to be able to maintain, but there's a team that can use him as a compliment, if we're using that word a lot today. And it's Nick Chubb, who was out there putting his video out of him working out. And this is him just leaping over these hurdles. It's like the guy's knees are bionic. They've completely had to repair and rebuild both of his knees. And he's out there doing this, but cutting and getting hit and withstanding the pounding of a season in the NFL is different. But it's still an intriguing like cuff or backup. He could score 4 or 5, 6 touchdowns in like a 7-game span if he's ever forced to help out. I don't think he gets a starting job. There's no jobs available. But could he go somewhere like Cincinnati? You know, could he go so and then you cuff him at the last pick in your draft? I don't think anybody's going to get overconfident on like him doing anything or getting brought in. But it's a nice story though. You know, Nick Chubb's brought fantasy worlds a lot of joy. So I think it's nice to give him some credit for, what he's doing. But look at this. He's just leaping over hurdles. I mean, wow. His knees have been through it. It's crazy. Look at this. The Donald said he spoke with the Giants about not getting rid of Saquon. And the Giants are out there hitting the news wires, denying it. Let me tell you something. I trust this man more than I trust that Giants organization or spokespersons remaining, if they're anonymous or not, or especially if it's Joe Shane. I trust this man's word over Joe Shane. So, does this look like a man that didn't talk to Joe Scheinbox and tell him, don't get rid of Barkley? They're saying, the Giants, there was no conversation when the president met with the Eagles team today and said that he looked at Saquon. And Saquon and him are fast friends. Okay? Saquon and him are fast friends. The Donald and Saquon, Donald invited him on his plane. The Donald flew him on Air Force One. They had a nice conversation. Saquon's getting a lot of heat for it, which I think is shameful. Shameful. If, let's say, Biden was still in office or Kamala won the presidency and Barkley was hanging out with the president, nobody would say a word. I think everybody would just be like, hey, whatever. Both sides wouldn't care. But because Saquon's hanging out with the president, because the Eagles go to the respect the office, everybody gets so bent out of shape. And the people that get bent out of shape, I haven't said a single thing politically right now. I haven't said a single thing politically or made any inference about politics whatsoever. I haven't inserted any of my politics or anything into this. I'm merely just saying when anybody goes and visits the president, when the team goes to visit Biden, or when they did, when the team goes to visit Trump, or when they went to visit Obama, it's a great thing. It's a great thing. It's fantastic. And people that tear it down are the ones being political. I bet you didn't hear somebody in here going, Smitty, don't bring politics into this. This isn't politics. You're bringing politics into it. If you think that I'm bringing politics into this by just breaking this piece of news here, which is relevant, maybe not to you. If you don't want it to be relevant, if you say this isn't news, then you have your politics being inserted. I'm not inserting politics. I'm not saying a word. I'm just saying what's going on. And this man right here said that he talked to the Giants, and I believe him. And you have this organization that got rid of Saquon Barkley, and they're trying to save face. You think they're going to admit that Trump had a conversation with somebody about how to get rid of him? And even if he's just talking and joking and saying in jest, like it's just funny that's even being defended. And then here's the president endorsing the tush push earlier. This was making news earlier because he went out there and said to Sirianni and to all the Eagle players, Lane Johnson, everybody, said, I think the tush push should stay. And so everybody was cheering, and he was presented with his helmet. He shook his good friend Saquon Barkley's hand. It was a nice experience. Some players didn't attend, and I just think that's wild to me. It's about the office. It's about the tradition. And it's weird that people will not, that they'll get so political. They think that you're getting political. They're the ones getting political by being offended by just a mere conversation, just mentioning the office at all. Just mentioning, hey, the team went to you don't need to talk about politics. You don't need to talk about, did the Eagles get on a plane and go visit the White House? Okay. Have we reported on that before? Oh, we have? Okay. Well, then that's what we're doing here. Browns sign Deontay Johnson to a 1-year contract. Next. I don't even know why it's on my screen. I probably shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have even clipped that. It would have wasted my time. You'll never get that 30 seconds back. This right here, these despicable kids, one of which is the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons' son right there in the left corner with the face on his. This guy should be grounded for the rest of his life. I hope they take away his car. I hope he never has another. I hope he gets his cell phone taken away for a year. This kid is despicable. Going on his dad's laptop, reportedly. This is what the report is anyway. Went on his dad's laptop, or someone went on a laptop, and I believe it was him. I believe it was him or one of his friends or whatever, and took the phone number of Shedeur Sanders, and they dialed him up and tricked him. Same thing happened to Isaiah Bond, who didn't get drafted, and this poor kid Isaiah Bond. And maybe he's guilty, maybe he's innocent. We don't know of the accusations, but innocent until proven guilty, especially when he goes straight at the person. And I think he opened up a counter against the person that filed the claim against him, because that person, if they are making it up or fabricating anything, just ruined Isaiah Bond's career. Isaiah Bond was a day 2 or even second round player, and he didn't even get drafted. And this kid, Isaiah Bond, is answering the phone, and somebody prank calls him and tells him he's drafted to the Falcons. The Falcons again are in the mix of this. So something's got to be happen here. This is crazy. This is absolutely despicable. And those kids should be punished, expelled, grounded for life, phones taken away, Spotify canceled. Panthers have agreed to terms with former wide receiver from the Raiders, Hunter Renfrow. Renfrow is now a Panther. So another wide receiver addition for the man known as Bryce Young. And then this guy, this is a nice little sleeper. I know, and I think DeBolt really likes him too. Nick Nash signing with the Falcons. This is a wildly undertold story. Does anybody know who the reception leader was in the FBS 2024 season? Does anybody know who had the most receptions out of all wide receivers in college football last year? This guy, Nick Nash. Do you know who had the most wide receiver yards in college football in 2024? This guy, Nick Nash. Do you know who had the most receiving touchdowns in college football, thus giving him the triple crown? He had the most receiving yards, receptions, and receiving touchdowns. Nick Nash. And the Falcons grabbed this kid. Falcons are all over the last 3 pieces of news. The 2 prank calls, the drafting of this kid. This is a pretty intriguing player. And he's in a crowded situation. This is no different than some of the other crowded environments we've been talking about. He's got Mooney, he's got London, he's got Pitts, he's got Bijan. There's a lot going on here. So I'm not trying to fool myself into thinking he can contribute right away. But if this 6'3", 205-pound triple crown monster who just kind of skated under the radar, heading into the draft, no one really talked about him too much. He was the triple crown. How does the guy that wins the triple crown not get talked about more? Even on my channel. How does he not get talked about more? How does he slip under the radar for a lot of people? And how does he not get talked about? He is DeBalt's liked him a lot on the Patreon. He's a good prospect. He's not in the best situation initially, but things could open up and change. Maybe Mooney's not going to be a long-term option. Maybe there's a lot that goes on, but this is a good prospect. No one's saying he played the best schools. I understand the downside to that, but we're not asking you to go from, hey, he's the best wide receiver in the nation. No one's saying that. I mean, he was last year, but no one's saying he is actually the best wide receiver in the nation. So you can't really just say, oh, he played for a bad school and San Jose State didn't have any competition. Like, that is an argument to say why you can't take his numbers and say he's the best receiver coming out of college. I get it. But how do you just discredit everything? He's a good prospect. So a player to watch over in Atlanta. That is the news. Again, we anointed a new Saturn man today.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
He's also become a supernova.
Spaceman.
And the phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the phone line, brought to you by the Addict.shop. Also, don't forget, I've been working out like a monster on this core board. Losing some weight, 10% off using code Smitty. Go over to stoicinnovations.com. Let me put the link in the live chat. And stoicinnovations.com is where you can purchase a core board. Use code Smitty for 10% off. It is such an amazing board. I got it over here in the corner, and you can always kind of see it in this corner. I'll probably keep it here for the majority of the year, if not, like, I don't know. I'm not going to say forever because I move the studio around a lot, but looks nice there. It's aesthetically pleasing, and it's one of the most enjoyable workout products that I've ever had, because you just basically hook these cables up, and you can hook the bar up, you can hook the handles up and do curls, you can hook the bar up and do curls with the bar, or do overhead presses. And the core board, about the core, it's the best thing about it is the sit-ups and the different, this is called the dragon flag. You just hold that, you do, and you put your feet under, and that way you don't, it's amazing. Let me go over to the super chats real quickly, and then over to the phone line. I got Rock Out on hold. Rock Out, hang tight for me real quick. Money Mitch dropping a super chat like a monster. $20 holler, you maniac, you.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Okay, so Money Mitch says Superflex Dynasty. Thank you for the question here, Money Mitch, and the $20 holler. Says, Dynasty draft from last night still going on. I ended up taking Hampton and Kyler and traded back to grab Hunter. I like it. And I can trade Kyler and Nico for Hurts. No, I don't know that I would do that. I like Hurts a lot more than Kyler, but not at the expense of Nico. I'd probably roll the dice that Kyler could be top 7-ish. I would have Josh Allen, Hurts, Hampton, Hunter through 4 rounds. I mean, you could make an argument that Nico, if you could get something else, I'd be all about listening to it. But I just think Nico and Kyler, I don't know. That's so tough. That is so tough. Hurts, Josh Allen, Hampton, Hunter. Yeah, but that's good. That's good, but I don't know. That's a tough one. Let me ask Travis and Rock Out in a second. I'll leave that on screen. Let me hit these other super chats. We'll get some more help for you on that one. 2 picks before I'm up. And Chad, if you can answer that one, would you rather have Hurts or would you rather have Kyler and Nico in a super flex? 2 picks before I'm up again in the second round. Agbuka, Golden, Higgins, Scattaboo available. Would go Scat, but if he's not there, Agbuka the move. I think so. I had Golden ahead of Agbuka on my rankings by 1 spot, but I honestly think I'm going to change it. I don't believe that Golden is as good as everybody says. I think he's good. I know they spent a first rounder on him, and I don't want to get confused here and think, oh, just because Green Bay decided to draft a wide receiver finally, that he has to be the right one. I think this is a team that hasn't done it in, forever. So who's to say they're doing it right? And I think you picked the one wide receiver that has never pulled in 1,000 yards in college football. I just don't know that it's the right pick. Agbuka for me, and that's banking a lot on the future. And Golden could have more now value potentially, but I don't even know how much. I think Agbuka is going to get on the field as the third guy, and they're going to run enough 3 wide receiver sets that I think it could be very valuable. He could have as much value as the third wide receiver in the Tampa Bay offense as Golden could have as the one in a very spread around offense in Green Bay, where we've never seen Love lock onto one wide receiver. Maybe it's Love's problem, not Jaden Reed's problem, not anybody's problem. It could be a Love issue. No pun intended. Smitty, how are we feeling about Shedeur? Everybody mute yourself on the phone line, please, especially Kyrie Boston, who I just added. Smitty, how are we feeling about Shedeur getting drafted by the Browns? Would you still draft him? I know the QB room is full. I'd still draft him in certain leagues and situations. Like, what are we talking? Redraft? No. But if in a super flex, absolutely. And I heard somebody get Shedeur in a rookie super flex in the 3rd round. So yeah, of course I take him in a super flex in the 3rd round. That's a fantastic value. Do I think it's going to work out? I don't know. I do believe so. I believe he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. I think people are absolutely acting like lunatics right now about this Shedeur thing. There is some negativity. I understand why some teams have passed on him. I get that the Giants reportedly installed like a trick question play in part of their interview process, and they tried to trip him up on purpose, and he didn't catch some things. And when they called him out, this is just a report, though. It's a report. It hasn't been confirmed. Dable was asked about it, and he said no. And he could be lying, but Dable said we had a great interview with him. You take it for what you want. Dable, from his own mouth, said no, but he didn't get into details, so he might be hiding it or trying to not be rude or whatever. But this is a lot of speculation and he said, she said about how Shedeur didn't handle this right. They didn't like the way that when they called him out, he acted. Whatever, like the thing that I think about Shedeur that makes me kind of upset is this kid comes from, and I'm not saying that it's our fault, and their actions have consequences. And if you're cocky and arrogant or whatever, and teams don't like it, then that's kind of on you. I get that. Let me put Shedeur up here while we talk about him. That's on you. But at the end of the day, it's like the thing that pisses me off about this situation is that, he's in a shadow that we have no idea how it is to live in the shadow of Deion Sanders. To live in Deion Sanders' house, or to have him controlling your life the way that Deion, and they're not going to be able to control him in Cleveland. They're not going to open the door for Deion. Like, Deion doesn't just because it's Deion, he's going to walk in the front door and say, this is what I want to happen. He does want to call a meeting reportedly and talk, and they might say no. Like, people have to realize that Browns don't have to do anything in regards to what Deion says or wants to meet with them or whatever. And if Deion's going to talk his kid into not showing up then, because Deion's going to, you get that meeting or my kid's not coming in. Like, then that's going to be all on Shedeur being a grown man and not separating himself from his dad. But I believe that he will, and him and his brother already have. And Shiloh ended up saying that my dad was our agent walking into the draft, quote unquote, in so many words. And that didn't work out too well. So Drew Rosenhaus became his agent, immediately signed. So part of this is Deion Sanders' problem. But I don't think that this kid Shedeur is going to allow Deion to ruin his career now that he's on his own. He's finally gone. There will be some divide. Deion might step away, from it, understanding that that's the wishes of his son. But you got to understand that Deion's got a big hold over this kid until this moment. And you've got to be arrogant and let things bounce off you if your father's Deion Sanders, because he's going to tear at you. You got to be hard, thick-skinned. You got to have confidence to deflect. Like, this is psychology right here. He's deflecting off all of that to try and be tough and weather the Deion Sanders fatherhood situation. I think that a good coach would have seen through this. A good coach would have said, Shedeur, we got to have you be your own man. You understand that, right? This is your life and your career now. And you got to leave that behind to a degree. I'm not saying you can't be close to it. Like, a good coach would have had that conversation. A good coach would have realized that once you get him into this position, he's going to develop and mature. He's been sitting under his dad's thumb for so long. Only coach he's ever had, he literally hasn't released him yet. Until he was drafted, he had no freedom. I just think one or two coaches should have been smart enough to go after this kid and realize that there was a lot of opportunity. Being from Orlando and a longtime UCF fan, RJ Harvey is him in capital letters, says Daniel. Also, great character, stay loyal to UCF. Had every opportunity to enter the portal. RJ to Saturn. Absolutely, Daniel, get ready. It's going to be a big year for him. Money Mitch, I'm going to swing around and ask the boys in a second what they think. And then Ball Street dropping a super chat here. Let me give you a $20 holler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
This question is, let's see here. This question is, hey, Smitty, where would you rank Bowers in tight end premium redraft 1.5? So it's not 2 points, but it's 1.5 premium PPR for tight ends. He goes in the first round, but since the draft, his ADP has actually risen. But I'd take him at the 1-2 turn, but I wouldn't take him in a high first round pick so that you're struggling later. I just think that Laporta and a couple other tight ends are such good value that you're going to get in a way, you're going to have everything proportionally, caught up. Whereas if you go Bowers, you are ahead of the game, right? But the person that grabs Laporta a little later, the person that grabs Evan Ingram, and he's a monster. The person that grabs 2 or 3 guys, maybe they grab Evan Ingram and they grab a guy like Isaiah Likely, and then they take Fanning Jr. and something happens in Cleveland and Fanning Jr. goes nuts and they have this combination. That person is going to beat the person that has Bowers if the person that has Bowers misses on anything. You're going to be chasing running back, chasing wide receiver, chasing quarterback. And you might catch up at every level. Like you'd have a great draft, the right players fall, and it could work out beautifully. Like if you got Bowers, and because it's premium, you end up getting, let's say, a wide receiver like, I don't know. Let's say you get Bowers and Genty falls because it's premium. You get Bowers, Genty, and then somehow, some way, you just get like Kyron and you get Hurts, and you just build, like you could build an amazing team that way. But I tend to think that that's more possible from that late first, so that you have a high second round pick to really make up for it. But if you're taking Bowers like at 3 or 4 or 5, you got such a weight that I bet you end up chasing every position. So I'm going to say I like it with a late first round pick. Otherwise, let someone else take that early tight end that early. There are a lot of good options still. It doesn't mean you have to stay with, you get Bowers or you lose. I don't think it's the case. In fact, I think Laporta is such a good prospect this year. Such an amazing tight end option. And if I go over to thefantasyfootballshow.com and I pull up my The Fantasy Football Show rankings, which are year-round, the rookies have already been adjusted, not only in the rookie rankings, but the super rookie rankings and the redraft rankings and the dynasty rankings and the top 200. All the rookies have been re-slotted post-draft. I look at the tight ends and I see Evan Ingram, Jonnu Smith getting disrespected like crazy. Travis Kelce getting disrespected like crazy. Not that he's a lock. Kyle Pitts getting disrespected like crazy. Mark Andrews and Likely you could cuff together. You got guys like, there's so many. You could just grab a plethora of guys. Kraft is interesting. There's a lot of players that I just find, trying to find that top 5, 6 breakout player or bounce back player in some cases is easier for me, I think, than going down a road where, Bowers not only has to deliver like a 8 to 10 touchdown season to earn that top 5 value. It's just, everything's got to go right. Thank you, Ball Street. Appreciate you. And then let me go over to Travis, who's live now. Travis, would you trade Kyler in this guy's situation? Kyler and Nico for Jalen Hurts in a super flex. It would give him Josh Allen, Hurts, Hampton, and Hunter. But it sounds like things are going to thin out after that. Or would you rather have Kyler and Nico? I'm torn on it.
I'd rather have Kyler and Nico. I don't think Hurts and Kyler are all that far apart.
Chat, vote on it.
Like last year, they were 5 points apart in PPR.
I also wonder what's going to happen to Hurts this year. Losing your OC again.
Right.
And the fact that, people can act like Hurts was on fire all year, but he wasn't. He won a Super Bowl.
No, not at all.
He won a Super Bowl, but he was not throwing the ball well. And I'm just saying, like, there's a world where Kyler, is closer than people think, and you get Nico. I'd rather take that gamble. And you know what else I'd do, Money Mitch, is I'd try and just do a different trade. This isn't the only trade in town. Kyler and something for Mahomes. Kyler and something for Mahomes is what I want.
People forget before Kyler got hurt, he was, a top 6 to 10 QB. He finished QB3 one year, actually. So if he's back to that and he's got weapons, it seems like the situation there is good. I think he's a top 10 QB.
Yeah, I definitely think I'd rather have the duo, but I don't stop there. I try and trade Kyler and something for Mahomes. I think Mahomes is so undervalued right now. Okay, Travis, what else are you thinking here before I circle around the phone line? What are you thinking about Harvey? You didn't call into the other show, so I'm eager to hear what you think about Harvey being a Saturn.
The Jupiter men. Jupiter is so large.
The Saturn men.
One small step for
man. What do you think about Harvey? And 24 years old, what do you think about him from a dynasty perspective? Are you worried about 24? And what do you think about him from redraft?
No, I don't worry about dynasty at all because I played that dynasty for a year or two out, and then, maybe my eye on for years. But I try to build a winning team as fast as I can and play for the now. Like you always talk about, half the leagues fold after like a couple of years anyways. Going, so I try to play for the now anyway. But I love them. If you're that joker spot in Sean Payton's offense, then you're the guy. So he's going to get plenty of touches, and plays are going to be designed to run through him.
I can't
real
wait.
Quick, I was going to say that compliment thing with Henderson. I don't know for sure, but I tend to think it means he's going to complement Ramondre's running style well, the two of them. I think they're going to possibly try to do the Monty Gibbs type of thing.
Yeah.
If you remember before, when Ramondre was there with Damian Harris, he was almost better with the limited catches under 200 carries. And people would say, "Oh, imagine what he could be if he got more."
Like
carries.
Pollard.
Since then, he's kind of been banged up and fumbled, and so it may be better for him even to go back to that role.
Yeah. Yeah, the way I look at it too is, compliment. He could be a compliment, but it could be it could be the reverse. Like he's complimenting, but he's the better piece of that compliment, in that duo. But for him to say he's an every down back, I tend to think that statement overrides the negative part of the rest of the statement. Like, and I know that sounds very convenient. And I understand people think that way, but I'm very objective. I am very, very objective. There's a reason why I'm not high on Burden right now. There's a reason why I'm pumping the brakes on Egbuka for the early part of the season. There's a reason why I came in here and one of the first things out of my mouth was that there is a negative part of the statement. So, that's being objective. But if I break it down with logic, you don't say he's a 3-down back. And then your compliment comment is telling you that he'll never be in the lineup. Like, and not to mention in this context, I very much think that Najee Harris is much more threatening than Stevenson. And the reason I can prove that is if we do the little exercise. You can close your eyes if you want, or just pretend to close your eyes. But if you close your eyes and you picture that we went through the NFL draft and neither New England or the Chargers drafted a running back, where are you drafting Najee and where are you drafting Stevenson? The answer is Stevenson was going in the 8, 9, 10 round range before the NFL draft, and Najee was going around 4, 5 before the NFL draft. So the answer to the question is that Najee was light years ahead of Stevenson before the NFL draft, when people thought maybe they wouldn't draft a running back. And New England wasn't a team that people were predicting to get a big name running back. It was a thought. Everyone thought maybe they could go after Genty. It was like kind of more of a pipe dream scenario. But no one thought for sure that the Patriots were drafting a running back. Everyone thought the Chargers were, and Najee was still going around 4 or 5. So I don't want to hear somebody say that Najee's not as good as Stevenson, because it's absolute garbage. It's a lazy take, and it's not accurate at all. Proven by the ADP data. But Trevion Henderson, unlike Judkins, unlike Hampton in many ways, Hampton's very much can play, a receiving running back, rushing and receiving role that's very equal. But this is the Gibbs. This is a guy that is designed not to get all the carries up the gut. This is a guy designed to carry the ball 12 to 14 times. So the compliment conversation, it is meaningful. Like, we do probably want Najee to be not every time the first down guy, but we kind of do. Even though we don't think we want that, we don't want Jahmyr Gibbs to get every carry. We don't. I know everybody kind of gets excited when Monty gets hurt, and I do too, because it's a short, shot glass of carries and games where he's getting all the work, and that's okay. But nobody wants Monty gone. I don't want Monty gone. Monty will get hurt for 4 or 5 games every year. He's getting older. He's going to get a little less effective and aggressive as the years go on. He'll get more injury prone. And Gibbs is going to get more and more volume. I like my Achane getting 12 to 14 carries a game, not 18 to 22. I like my Trevion Henderson to have a compliment. I would have worded it different. 3-down back, and Ramondre is going to compliment him beautifully. That's how I would have worded it, and that might have been what he wanted to say. So, yeah, I'm not worried about it, but it's important for me to bring it up. Because if I didn't, I'd be I'd be a very biased analyst, and I wouldn't be bringing the truth to my people. This is something that needed to be talked about, but I'm not worried about it. But he's safer. Harvey, it's just bottom line. You can say what you want. Harvey walks into this situation. Thank you again, Money Mitch. Let us know what you end up doing. Harvey walks into this situation, and he's safer in redraft. In Dynasty, I don't care. Dynasty, they're equal. If not, Henderson even maybe gets a slight edge. But in redraft, Harvey is safer. Doesn't mean Henderson's upside can't overwhelm. You know, I'm just saying, I love both these guys. They're tied for my redraft rookie number 2 overall. My number 2 overall rookie in redraft. My number 2, they're tied. Hampton's the 3rd. All right, Travis, final thought on that, and then I'll circle her on the phone line. Rock out's been waiting.
No, I'm good on that. Just on Shedeur, like, real quick, I was just going to say, like, stepping back, you can see how it would happen where, you know, 1/3 of the teams don't need a quarterback, so they don't look down. Another 1/3 of the teams, you know, are just stupid or unwilling to take, you know, any type of, not issue, but, you know, media thing on like that. And then, you know, the last third, you know, whether it's he had bad meetings or they don't like Dion, like, you see how it could snowball quickly. And then these teams get, you know, they go, oh, we're just looking for a backup. It's supposed to be a starter, and they trip over themselves and make the wrong decision, you know. You kind of see how it happened, but still unfortunate.
Yeah. All right, Rock Out, you're live. Rock Out.
Yeah, I like Harvey and Henderson, and also, of course, Genty as the top guys I'll be going after. I think Harvey, even though he's not like the Bucky type, theme, he can be the Bucky type of player.
Yeah.
And
what Rock Out means by that is what we've been saying when people say Harvey's the next Bucky. We'll kind of interrupt them and say, you can't really say that because Bucky was like 2.6, 2.7 player. But then again, it's like I've seen him go in the second round. So really,
yeah,
you know, my excitement for him, I'm finding is I'm wrong on how high the rest of the world is on him, and that makes me excited. So maybe he is a little bit more outside of, you know, under the radar than he should be. And so maybe I can't say, okay, Bucky's rags to riches. This is a, you know, rich getting richer. But it seems like people are sleeping on this kid. I'm getting DMs from people that are drafting him at 2.1, 2.3, 2.4, 1.9, 1.8. And of course, a couple of people taking him because they're the one that they're at 1. Like, I got him at 1.5. And I'm sitting there going, I would do it too, but where would we get him if we traded down? I don't even know. I don't think I want to risk it. I think if I had the 1.5 and 1.9, like in my example earlier, or let's say 1.8 and 1.5. Let's say I had 10 leagues, 10 Dynasty rookie drafts, and in every single one of them, I had the 1.5 and 1.8. I don't think there's one league I would let him fall past my 1.5, and I would never, ever know if he would have fallen because I'd blow my wad at the 1.5. I wouldn't risk it. There's got to be somebody else in the league that's going to be like, I'll take RJ Harvey. And I'm just going to be like, no. So I wouldn't risk it. But yeah, like Aldi got him at 1.12. It's just crazy. Look at this. I'll put him on screen. Tell me where you got Harvey. 1.11, 1.12. Matto thinks he can get him at the 2.2. That's going to be tough, but I've seen it happen. It's crazy, man. It is wild. It is stupidity. It is sleeping on the job, sleeping at the wheel. But I don't think it lasts. For those that are taking advantage of it, keep in mind that a lot of people aren't consuming enough information yet. They're just drafting all of a sudden. And as you hear more and more people hype up, you know, Harvey, like even, you know, people that copy this show, other shows that copy this show, you can tell because it happens all the time. They use the same phrases. Like they're going to start watching this channel, start educating themselves on Harvey, and then they'll start creating content. And then all of a sudden, we've got Harvey talk everywhere.
There's a lot of people that will say, and I've seen it, even a couple people in the chat say, well, Sean Payton only likes to use a running back in Michigan. He doesn't like having just one guy. And that's not true. When he has his guy, he has his guy. Otherwise, it'll be a running back.
This is one of those people. This is one of those players that we're going to be able to say we were higher on than everybody on. Because I just can't find any. There's nobody that's saying they're drafting him 2 overall. You know, we're doing it. We're doing it live. And he's a consideration for 1. Let me just put that out there so no one can even beat. Let me one up everybody like one upper. I would consider him at 1. I wouldn't, but I wouldn't. I'm just trying to cement it in. We're literally gonna be able to say we told you about Harvey, and everybody's gonna circle around. Like in August, I think it's gonna be trendy to have him at the 2 or 3 overall. But who knows, man? This is the one thing I promise you that I'm not accurate with is predicting some of these rookie ADPs. It's not about I can predict regular ADP perfect. But when it comes down to rookie ADP, this is one of my weaknesses because I'm so excited and there's not a lot of ADP data. You don't have enough time. The rookie drafts come and go so quick, there's no way to build up rookie ADP data that's accurate. And every league's a little different to where it doesn't even matter. Like, it's not even accurate. You can't even use rookie ADP data because you go into a league and it's wide receiver heavy. Like, I got 2 people emailing me and messaging me right now that are like, hey, Smitty. And by the way, don't email message. I don't respond to emails and text mess or DMs on fantasy advice. I don't have time. Comment in my YouTube comments, and I try and reply to as many as I can. But I read them sometimes, and I don't reply because I don't have time. If I open up that floodgate, someone thinks I'm just at their beck and call and email, and I can't do that. Or DMs. Someone's like, hey, can you rank the running backs for me? In a DM and an Instagram, I'm like, watch the video. Like, he's replying to the video. He's like, hey, in the video on my Instagram, he's like, where are you ranking these guys? I didn't have time to watch. I'm like, go watch. I'm not going to redo the whole ranking show for you in a DM. But I have people that are DMing me, and they're literally, what was I saying? Just sidetracked myself. What was I saying? I don't know. Harvey. I don't know.
Rookie ADPs.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So I'm so bad at rookie ADPs because there's not enough data. Oh, yeah. So I was saying that the reason the data doesn't even make sense is that I got people DMing me and emailing me right now that I'm not replying to. That was what I was saying. And they're like, do I take Hunter 1? Do I take, do I take Hunter number 2? And I'm like, why are you taking Hunter 1? And they're like, oh, we're really wide receiver heavy. So there's so many things that you can't possibly know about a rookie league. And everybody's rookie leagues are so different. So the rookie ADP is garbage. It doesn't even catch up in time to be helpful. So I'm always so bad at predicting rookie ADP because I want to take these players so high. I want Harvey. I think everyone else is going to see what I see in Harvey without ADP data catching up in time. I'm just assuming people are smart. But they're not. No one's smart enough to know how good Harvey could be, I guess. Right now, at least. I watched a couple mainstream shows today, and they all have RJ Harvey way down, like ranked in the 20s among running backs. What is going on? I mean, that's your own fault for watching that show, by the way. I'm live enough that you
getting overlooked by a lot of people.
It's crazy, bro. All right, let me go around the phone line real quickly. Hold on, Travis and Rock out. Let me head on over to Kyrie Boston, then over to Gump. Kyrie, go ahead. You're live.
Hello?
Okay, I tried to give Kyrie Boston the floor. Gump, you're live. God, why is Kyrie Boston always a problem? Why is he always? He's always a problem. Let me go ahead, Gump. Gump, you're live.
You don't like letting me come.
Go ahead, Gump. What, Kyrie Boston?
Oh man, you don't let me come off mute. You tell me to go mute, then as soon as I try to come off
where's
mute,
where's your phone at? Is your phone in your pocket, zipped up, or what?
I'm on mute. You tell me to go on mute.
I know.
When you tell me to go on mute, then you take me off mute a lot of times right away, Smith.
But you take forever. You take forever. You take forever.
Right, cool.
Okay.
Whatever.
Gump, hang tight. Let's let Kyrie Let's let Kyrie Boston vent a little bit. Go ahead, Kyrie Boston. What can I do for you? Welcome back.
You can't hear me. You can't hear me when you're talking. I can't hear you when you're talking sometimes. You hang up on me for no reason, a whole bunch.
Just say what you're going to say.
Gump says.
I was called to tell you I've been drafting RJ Harvey a lot.
Uh-huh.
I got mock drafts going. I've been taking them a lot, man.
Good job.
Like, literally, I took him on every format. I only got one league that I could mock draft him on, that's sleeper. So I take him on.
Mute him real quick.
Changed the format.
BBQ dropping 50 gifted memberships.
Like mad different times, and had a whole bunch of drafts. And he's going late, man. He's going mad late. I'm able to get him and a whole bunch of other talent way before him.
Yep. Sure is. He's going to be a monster, bro. Monster.
I knew to take him, though. I kind of figured that the Broncos was one of the better landing spots for a running back. So
what else can I do for you other than? I mean, I've already said all this. What else can I do for you, pal? What else you liking? What other players you liking? Where are you drafting? You taking Harvey over Hendy and Marion Hampton?
No, I'm taking Hampton first. I'll take Hampton in first all the time. First I take Hampton, then I go for Henderson. But sometimes the wide receivers keep me from getting Henderson because I already got Barkley, Hampton, and Jalen Hurts, and who else I be getting? I be getting a lot of players before Hampton.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What else you got?
So it's just the way the ADPs are going. But I always get Harvey.
Kyrie, what else you got? What else you got? Anything else?
I mean, no, I still have Hampton as my second player, but I respect Harvey's value though. I respect that. I respect the value he's going at right now because he's so low. Like he's one of my favorite players to draft.
Okay, hang tight real quick. Let's go over to Gump real quick. Gump, go ahead. You're live. Gump, did I hear you yell? Did I hear you yell? Say what you're gonna say already. Did I hear you yell that in the background? Yeah. Gump, did you guys get in a fight? By the way, they met each other on hold. I kicked them both off the phone line, and for some reason, they both left together in purgatory, and they just started talking for a while. They exchanged numbers, and they've been fast friends ever since. But I'm getting the sense that you guys have fought before. I'm getting a sense that you got in a fight.
We fight all the time.
No, we do good.
Well, but why are you yelling in the background? Why, Gump? Why are you? But why are you, Gump, a person that takes forever to say anything? Why are you yelling in the background? Say what you got to say. I mean, that's what we should be saying to you half the time. But go ahead. What is it that you had for me today?
Don't get mad at me. Just don't get mad. Just
hold on. Let me put my finger over the button. Okay, go ahead.
Put my head over the button. Jeez. Gosh, you don't ever give me a break. But listen here, and I want you to listen good. I've been debating over my mind about what quarterback I was going to take in the draft because I'm already thinking about my draft coming up. And it's going to be quite a while before we draft.
Get to the point, Gump. Say what you got to say.
Well, I was thinking, like you were saying, hey, let's have the quarterback first. I said, no, kind of feel good about that. And then as I was listening to you do all your stuff and talk about different stuff, and that guy was going to make a trade for so-and-so and get hurt and stuff like that. And then you talked about Mahomes, and I thought,
thank you for recapping. What is your? Can you just say it?
Last year, I had Mahomes. I dropped him off my roster. I couldn't get him off my roster fast enough. I couldn't get him. I would have paid somebody to take him.
Gump. Can I just warn you? Gump, listen to me real quick. Hold on, listen to me real quick. Kyrie Boston and Gump, listen to me and listen to me good. We have a procedure here on the show where if you get 3 red X's, you get kicked off the phone line. It has nothing to do with me, and you can't come back for the rest of the show. So my advice is to get to the point. My advice is to get to the point because Gump, I'll hang up on you on 3 red X's, and then I can't help you, and you're gonna get mad at me.
I'd rather have Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield way before where I took freaking Mahomes.
Finish him. Call terminated.
Let me go back to someone rational. Kyrie Boston, what else you got?
Man, I just want to say that sometimes we have misunderstandings. That's all, Smitty. A lot of times you be coming back to me when I'm on mute, and you don't hear. I'm trying to click
Aren't we over this?
But my phone's slow.
Aren't we over? Okay, but aren't we over
black
this?
Screen on me. Then I have to like make it light up so I could see the mute button. Then I got to hit the mute button. Like,
Is
it
it a
ain't
flip
easy
phone?
for me to come off mute.
You got two phones, Kyrie. You have no excuse because you call in with two phones.
It's fast or something. Like, I could just come off mute like that.
Well, all right. I do appreciate that you go on mute when I ask you. That I will tell you. I'll give you.
But when I come off mute, I can't come off fast.
I'll give you a little bit more leeway on the flip phone.
At the wrong time sometimes.
When you're on the flip phone, I'll give you a little more leeway.
Hear the background.
All right. What else can I do for you, Kyrie, before I disconnect?
No, I just wanted to tell you that. And a lot of times I don't be over talking you. I just can't hear you when I'm talking sometimes because I'll turn off all the background. So I don't have anything to tell me that you're talking. I don't have the show showing me you're talking or nothing. I just turn off everything. So I'm totally focused on the show. And sometimes I go on a rant. Then you hang up on me.
What else can I do for you, Kyrie?
No, I'm just saying. I'll be trying to stop talking in time.
Hey, we don't need to have this conversation. We're fine. Everyone watching is like, okay, they don't care about.
I told Travis to tell you about it, but I don't know if Travis got the message across.
Kyrie Boston, move on to football. What else can I do for you?
Oh no, I'm just high up on Hampton and all these running backs. To be honest with you, I love the show right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm real high up on Hampton. I disagree with you about the Hampton thing. But at the same time, you're right about the Broncos. They're the best spot for a running back because he don't got no competition.
All right. Hang tight. Let me go over to...
kind of guaranteed. Huh?
Let me go back over to Travis. Travis, what else is going on in your mind? Oh, real quickly. Somebody has a request for Kyrie Boston to talk like Denny real quickly. Just give me one sentence. I don't want you to go on and on and on. Just give me Denny impersonation. Go ahead, Kyrie Boston. You got 20 seconds.
What did he say? Them Cowboys. I said, what did he say? They're on the run. Oh, he said the Bandits. They're on the run. The Bandits are on the run, Smitty.
You sounded like that once.
Holla.
I don't. It doesn't sound like that.
$100 holla.
Okay.
$100 holla.
Travis, you're live.
Got a couple super chats. I don't know if you want to hit those.
Yeah, let's entertain the mind. Superflex Dynasty. Kyler. Oh, it's the old one. Hunter 3 round 4. Okay, thank you, Money Mitch, again for that one. This one's from BBQ, who dropped 50 gifted memberships, by the way. BBQ, thank you so much. Everybody thank BBQ. BBQ is cooking.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
He's always cooking. BBQ says Kyrie got two phones, one for yelling and one for picking up chicks. Navage, appreciate you. Smitty, Superflex startup. Team so far is JD5 London, Garrett Wilson, Hall, Tyler Warren, Devontae, Worthy, Walker, Henry, Dak, or Bryce at the next pick. Man, that's a good team. JD5 London, Garrett Wilson, Hall. What rookies are there? I imagine like Harvey's got Harvey's got to be gone, right? So I'm just going to assume that. If not, of course, I tell you to make a rookie pick here. But Devontae Smith, Worthy. I guess I would probably say if it's super flex.
I don't know how many quarterbacks are left.
If it's super flex, I might go Dak.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's still going to play a long time, and that's quite a ways. You're talking about round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're talking about round 6. You got to take Dak Prescott, unless there's another better quarterback available. But Dak Prescott's pretty good. In his super flex, you got it, bro. You punted second quarterback till round 6, and you got an opportunity to smash a top 7 quarterback.
Harvey's still there.
I'd rather have Fields and like Shedeur Fields and like this combo of Milton and I don't know. I'd rather have Harvey. But I think you got to take Dak with the next pick if he's still there. If you got like close picks, then you can maybe make it happen. But like Harvey and Henderson, obviously Hampton as well. I think you got to take. Is that early for a second QB? No, maximum. It's not. Not at all. I mean, people take their second QB in round 2. All right. So, Superflex is different, bro. 6th round, your second quarterback in 6th round, Dak Prescott. That's crazy. That's great. Best Ball Mania draft tonight. You bet your bottom dollar. You bet your bottom dollar. All right, let me head on over to. Oh, go ahead, Travis. You were saying something.
No. I was just going to ask what you feel on Cam Ward. Like, the more I hear talk and think about him, I like him a lot.
Later,
Mike. Of course, the Tennessee situation worries you, but what's your overall feeling on him? Where would you be drafting him?
On Ward?
Yeah.
Dynasty, Superflex. Like, what's the context?
Yeah, Dynasty and Superflex. Both.
Okay. I'd say in 1 QB Dynasty. 1 QB Dynasty, I'm looking at Ward as a second quarterback. I don't think in my right mind could draft him as my number 1. That's not to say he can't develop into that, but you just can't assume these things. Like, it's a good prospect, just like you took JD5 in a lot of ways in best ball or in redraft as your second quarterback his rookie year. You did it because you knew what he could be. And especially in non-best ball, the trade value of taking Josh Allen and JD5, and then you could trade one of them, or Burrow and JD5 or whatever. Ward's like, he's not JD5, but he's in the same vein of like, you're taking him as a prospect, and if it works out, then amazing. If it doesn't, you're not losing a league off it. In Dynasty, that's especially in redraft. But even in Dynasty, I look at it like that. There's too many other quarterbacks. Like, we're talking about Dak. In that Superflex league, if you would have told me, well, Ward's available, I'd still rather have Dak than Ward, because Dak's not going anywhere for the next handful of years. And Ward, I don't know if Ward's going to be as good as Dak. I think he could be, but Tennessee's kind of a mess. I don't know that I don't think Tennessee's going to turn it around right away. I don't think their draft was so good that this is a team. I think New England turned things around right away. So, I don't know. So yeah, Ward, and then Ward and Superflex. He's still not, I'm still not as excited about him being my QB2 than I am about like a Dak or a Fields. I'd rather Fields or Dak. Is what it is. What the comparison like? Would you rather have Young Travis or Ward in a Superflex dynasty? In chat, answer that in the chat. What
I'd roll the dice on Ward, but I admit that could blow up in my face.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have Ward over Young in Dynasty, and I don't say that very easily. I'm excited about Bryce Young, but I still have probably just as many concerns. Someone, Smitty, someone just drafted Ward. Hold on one second, Kyrie. Someone just drafted Ward in round 1 in my Superflex Dynasty startup. Jeez, that is called botching badly. Yeah, I am not about drafting that kind of value out of Ward. No way. Go ahead, Kyrie. What's your question?
I had 2 questions. I had something about the quarterbacks, but I think I should ask my first question first. Do you think the Lions gave up way too much to get that Tesla guy? I feel like they gave up way too much, and me and Gump's been arguing about that for days.
Well, of course Gump's going to argue. He's a lion, and Gump can't see straight. He thinks because Ben Johnson's no longer a lion, he's horrible. Like Gump's got Coke bottle glasses that have lion logo
with it.
He can't
That's
see.
all I'm saying.
He can't see straight. He thinks Tesla is going to walk into an amazing opportunity. You know what I can't believe? That Tesla is getting so much hype, but Harvey is not. That's insane to me. This kid is good. I like him. The metrics are, I get it. But he has not one wide receiver in front of him, 2 wide receivers in front of him, maybe Laporta in front of him, and definitely Gibbs in front of him in terms of target share. He can only be the 5th option in an offense that has Goff as the quarterback and no Ben Johnson, who's gone. You tell me how he's going to feed the 5th wide receiver so much that we're out here just going, winning leagues on Tesla, just taking a test drive. The electric Tesla is doing amazing.
You sound like me talking to Gump now.
This is. I'm gonna have.
What you just said.
I'm gonna have a cultic following meter. I don't even know if I'm gonna call it that, but this is like a cult following. Okay, a cult following, like meter, like like a value, and it's gonna have something along the lines of like, it's gonna be maybe a graph or something. Like here's a graph, and it's gonna be 10, and this is gonna be 0, this will be 5, and there's certain players that have this. I'll press a button and it'll basically just say what's the cult following pressure on the ADP, and how much of it's a fabricated pressure. The fact that this kid Tesla is getting this raving review like he's gonna change fantasy. It comes from, I want the next Puka Nacua. It comes from, I love grabbing these guys and everyone thinks I'm so smart and intelligent because I know who they are. And this is not a pick that I even liked when it happened. I heard of him, but he's not even that big of a prospect. He's a good prospect, but he wasn't even on a lot of teams' radars, at all until later in the draft. And he's no different than like you could say Savion Williams, in terms of not play style, but in terms of like, these are reaches. These are guys that, can we develop this kid? Now, I like him. If he went to the right spot, it could have been very intriguing. He went to probably the worst spot. This is probably, now if you're a football fan of the Detroit Lions and you're saying to yourself, I like that we added this kid. If injuries happen, he could be a good big play wide receiver. Think of what's his face? Juwan Jennings. Remember 17 catch Juwan Jennings? Remember the phrase we'd always say? He was a good player that was trapped in an environment where he couldn't do a thing consistently. There's no way Juwan Jennings had a chance, and the Niner fans loved him. And rightly so. They saw something great in him, but they got overly excited when he had zero pathway to get into the lineup. So Juwan Jennings would come out, and they call him third and Juwan. Third and Juwan, we need a first down. And he'd go out and he'd grab a nice, great catch. And they'd be like, Juwan's a dog! And he'd get one catch every game, or he'd get one catch every 3 games. But there was no path for him until all the injuries, the Ayuk stuff opened up, and now Juwan's a dog. So does he have the potential, if injuries happen, to go up? Sure. But why are people thinking that this kid's got a shot in redraft to do much without massive injuries swiping over the Lions roster? It's crazy to me. It reminds me of Jacoby Myers.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question about Tesla. Do you agree with this? I feel like the Lions gave up 3 Teslas to get 1 Tesla, to be honest with you. I feel like next year's drafts, everyone's saying next year's draft got better players than this year's draft.
What was the sum total for the trade?
They gave up 2 third-rounders, and they gave up their pick from this year's draft. That was a third-rounder, which they could have drafted Tesla at without trading up for him.
Can someone confirm that? Did they give up 3 first-rounders for the pick? I don't quite remember.
Yes. They gave up 3 first-rounders for Tesla.
Not asking you.
2 first-rounders for him, I think.
3.
I mean, two third-rounders, right?
It was
3. They gave up their pick this year. They moved up in the draft.
Yeah, but did they just move it up?
Travis, they moved up in the draft, so they gave up that.
Kyrie,
Hey,
calm down. Kyrie, calm down. Kyrie, calm down. You're going to get hung up on.
That's what I'm saying.
They moved their third rounder up, so they didn't give up 3 first rounders. They gave up 2 first rounders.
They gave up 3 third rounders.
Travis?
No, they swapped one.
Travis, did they just move up a third rounder to give up 2 third rounders?
I think they just swapped.
I think they swapped third rounders and then gave up 2 third rounders.
Kyrie Boston, what are you not understanding?
I hate that.
I'm waiting to hang up on you. Once Travis confirms, I'm hanging up on you because you don't let me talk and you act like you know everything about it.
No, go ahead and speak. Go ahead and speak. I thought you
keep
asked me
saying
what I
they
thought
gave
about
up 3 first rounders. They didn't give up 3 first rounders. It was I believe it was. We're finding out here. This year's third and 2 thirds next year, but it was a move up, so it's not like they're giving up 3 first rounders. They're moving their third rounder up.
Yes, they are. Smitty, you're not seeing it that way because they gave up this year's third rounder and 2 from next year.
You being saved on the phone line is going to be whether you're correct. Go ahead, Travis.
Here's the exact trade. The Lions moved up 32 spots from pick 102 to pick 70 in the third round. Then they gave up both of their third round picks next year. And then they got back a 6th rounder this year and a 6th rounder next year. So they gave up 2 third rounders because they didn't give up their third rounder. They moved up. So it's not like they gave something up. They got better in this third round.
Finish him.
He doesn't listen is what he doesn't do. He's sitting here, Smitty, 3 first rounders. Okay, anyway, let's answer his question. Anyway, is Tesla worth 2 third rounders? Because he doesn't understand. 2 third for the move up. No, I don't think so. Because the receivers that were available when on the clock were probably let me pull up the NFL draft. NFL.com. Let's go to the draft tracker. I can only take so much Kyrie Boston in one day. I can only take so much Kyrie Boston in one day. It's just only so much I can, because he doesn't listen. And he starts telling me what I know and I don't know, and then I need to rewatch the show and I need to do all this. Kyle Williams, so Tesla went right under Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams is 10 times the receiver that Tesla is. Pat Bryant, I don't like him better. I think that, he's okay, but we'll see. Maybe he develops. Jalen Noel, I like better than Tesla. Savion Williams, that's a debate. I personally like Savion more, but I don't know that Savion will be utilized or developed properly, so it's going to be hard to look at that in time. Felton, I don't like more. I would say Tesla was probably decent value there. I don't think, let me just go through. Thornton was okay. You could argue that. Another receiver that went off the board. Jalen Lane.
They love the type of receiver he is. He blocks.
Jalen Royal.
Dog, as they say.
KC got Jalen Royals at 133. I like him more than Tesla. And then I really like Isaiah Bond way more than Tesla. But he didn't even get drafted, so it's not even like a conversation. But Tesla's he's a good player. He's a good player, but he's not in a good spot. Again, good player, not in a good spot. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. There's no debating it. He's not in a good spot. Could the spot develop and become something special for him later? Yeah, but injuries got to happen for that. J-Mo's got to get traded, et cetera, et cetera. Real quick, Travis, and then Gump, I'm sure he's probably fuming over here.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that. I mean, it's a strategy. The Lions next year at all, and I don't know what they have for the future, but they're obviously selling out. Going all in. So if it works, that's good. They shored up their defense. They got depth at wide receiver, so time will tell.
Yeah. Gump, what do you want to say about Tesla? You're probably getting fumed over there. thinking that this golden boy getting disrespected.
Oh, I agree, Rick. I agree. Rick, Travis, chips are all in. You played poker before. They put all the chips in for this year to go for it. All the chips are in. And we're not even at – and the Lions, if you didn't know, have filled out their 90-man roster right now. They're full, completely full. They picked up some free agents and stuff like that. They are full. And it doesn't mean that they're going to stop.
You're just going to take the championship, aren't you? You just, don't you think, Gump, they shouldn't even play the season out? I think you should just basically declare that you're the winner. You're the Super Bowl champion. I don't even know why anybody's even playing.
Can I say something real quick?
I mean, why do you always ask me if you
I really believe that the Lions and the Washington Redskins, I ain't going to call them Commanders because they're punks. The Washington Redskins and the Lions are going to go out the first game of the season. And that right there is going to be the telltale sign of what's to come.
So what happens if the Lions get spanked by the Washington Commanders in that contest? Are you gonna come in here with excuses and say, well, it's because Ben Johnson wasn't there, we're getting settled and everything's gonna be fine once Smitty, we lost our offensive coordinator. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some. Does it sound like Gump? It's gonna take some time, Smitty.
Only one game.
This is the Lions we're talking about here. Over the Lions. This is a championship team, Smitty. We're going for a champ. You got to understand, we want to win a championship, Smitty. We want to win a champ. This is what we are. We're a championship team. We're not like everybody else. We're trying to win a championship, Smitty.
Okay, I know everybody likes football. I know everybody that's on here likes football. But can you imagine what's going to be like when the Lions hit the field and they're playing the Redskins? And
Why do I feel?
Detroit Lions.
Why do I feel dirty when he's talking to me about the Lions? Why do I feel like I'm like if Smitty walked in, she'd think I'm dialing a 1-800. He's talking like whispering sweet. It kind of makes me uncomfortable the way Gump talks about the Lions to me. I feel really, really uncomfortable.
Well, I got too much hope going on over here. It's been going on for a few years.
Rock out, then back to Kyrie's burner line because he called them from the burner. Go ahead, rock out, and then Kyrie. Kyrie, get ready to unmute yourself soon, okay? Not yet, but soon. Go ahead, rock out.
Keep telling me why I heard like the worst take today. Someone tried to say Commanders are going to finish fourth in their division.
I mean, I can't be responsible for wild takes like that. I
was like, they need to get checked, like for real.
I mean, Gump thinks the Lions are just going to be handed the Super Bowl trophy, so. But yeah, Gump, Gump, where's my bucket of chicken? Where's my super chat? I told you super chat me $5 and I'll wipe the rest of your debt clean.
I don't. You're gonna have to teach me how to do the send the super chat in.
Click the dollar sign, Gump. You just click the dollar sign.
Huh?
You just click that little dollar sign there.
All
right, it's okay.
Then what happened?
Only do it if you can.
Oh, one more thing.
I don't want to force you to do it. It is what it is.
No, I want to.
Oh.
I want. Hey, I'm ready for you to eat that chicken right on the camera, right in front of me.
This feels bad. I'm feeling uncomfortable again.
Right now, Gump.
I'm feeling uncomfortable again. Gump wants me to eat food in front of him.
Oh, watch you eat.
No, you're Popeyes. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Oh, Gump. All right, Gump, I got to go. Anything else, my friend? You know we appreciate you. And then when we hang up on you a lot. You and Kyrie get hung up on more than anybody, but it's your own faults. Yeah. But I still bring you back. So
he did it to his own self. But anyway, what I wanted to say is, do you think the Lions? I mean, I talked to my nephew Stevie, and I said, "Well, what do you think about the pick, Stevie?" He says, "Well, before Brad Holmes got here, we were in the dumps, but he's turned it all around. Why wouldn't we trust Brad Holmes? Why did he grab Tesla, give up the 2 third rounds? Why? He might have been afraid that somebody else was going to grab him, and that he was the key to us going to the big day, the big dance, the big shoe." The big shoe.
Tesla's the key. Tesla's the key.
Yeah.
You're gonna put it on autopilot. It drives itself. This Tesla drives itself. He's driving straight into the Super Bowl.
We're ready to roll.
God, these Tesla maniacs, man. They're maniacs.
I'm going to training
They're maniacs, Travis. I don't understand.
I'm going to training camp so I can talk to.
Okay,
I'm going to talk to Calvin.
Finish him.
And I'm going to have him call you.
Wait a minute. You can have Calvin Johnson call into the show? Gump,
yeah, I'm going to go to. I'm going to training camp this year so I can talk to.
So let me get this straight. He signed an autograph for you. You act like you know him. You act like he's been to Thanksgiving. Basically, Gump was getting an autograph. And while he was signing,
can I tell you one?
Hold on, Gump. Let me explain for the people that don't know the story.
I wanted to tell you something really important.
Hold on. Okay, after I explain the story, Calvin Johnson was signing autographs, and he signed Gump an autograph. And while Gump was getting his autograph, he said, "Hey, you know what you need to do is the pool drill. The pool drill is when you blah 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 blah." And then Calvin Johnson had a better season, and Gump's taking credit, saying that Calvin Johnson uses this pool drill that he told him about when he was signing his autograph, and he's taking responsibility for some of why Calvin turned into the monster that Calvin Johnson turned into. And now he thinks that he could just walk up to Calvin, they're on speaking terms, and go, "Hey, I want you to talk to Smitty on the Fantasy Football Show." And Calvin Johnson's going to be like, "No problem, my man Gump. Here we go. Hey, Smitty, I heard you're friends with my boy Gump." So we're still waiting, Gump. We're waiting for that day. You bring Calvin Johnson to the show, and I'll let you host an entire show. I'll be your co-host, and I'll let you host an entire show by yourself.
I got one better than all of it.
I doubt it.
That is?
No.
You know what you're good at, Smitty. Let me tell you what you're really good at.
Thank you.
Really, you know what your real gift. You know what it is?
I'm waiting.
You
Patience?
Be an agent.
Patience?
Agent. Football
What?
Agent.
What's he saying? What? Agent.
A football agent. Agent.
Agent.
A-G-E-N-T. Agent.
Apparently listening or hearing, understanding foreign languages might not be my skill. I don't know what the hell you're saying.
Irish.
Agent. Agent.
Irish.
You know what you're good at? You're good at agent. You're good at agent, Smitty. Agent.
What's the accent coming through?
Agent.
Agent.
Thank you.
You did a really great.
First time I've ever heard that. Smitty, you know what you're really good at? Agent.
Dude, listen. You'd
drop an agent in the chat.
I will put agent in. You do really good, Smitty. I'm telling you. You make so much money.
Stop whispering to me. I gotta go. Bring Calvin on. Bring Calvin on. Where are my red X's?
Finish him.
But that.
Call term.
Jeez, man. You know what? You know what?
He keeps whispering to you.
You know be good at? Agent. What? What am I? Agent. Jeez, man. There's only one man that might top that. Kyrie Boston, final thoughts.
Okay, I'm here. I got it off mute.
All right.
I was gonna say that if you get out the whiteboard, I could show you what I'm talking about because they had to give up the 102nd pick in the draft.
We don't
and
care.
Then 2 from next year. That's 3 players. That's 3 third rounders for a third rounder. And two,
I don't feel like
if you put it on the whiteboard,
I don't feel like
you would understand what I'm saying.
I don't feel like explaining it to you anymore. What else can I do for you, Kyrie?
No, you would understand that they gave up 2 third rounders for 1 third rounder and 2 6th rounders.
I don't want to explain it
on the whiteboard.
I don't want to.
You don't want to put it on the whiteboard.
I don't want to explain it to you anymore. We already did it on the whiteboard.
I know it. I already know it. They gave up the 102nd pick.
We just showed it.
You act like they didn't give up the 102nd pick. A move up means they gave up their draft pick. They gave up a third rounder.
Look, you just wasted. You got 3 X's.
Finish him. Call.
Insert 5 back-to-back Kyrie Boston phone calls right now from both of his lines, his burner line and his other line. I mean, what's he talking about? He continues like, I don't feel like explaining it to him anymore. At some point, I don't like arguing in circles with somebody.
Yeah.
You don't. When you do a trade down, you're not. We understand. We're not morons. You're trading up. The other team's trading down, and in exchange, they gave up 2 third-rounders for the trade down. That's plain and simple. All right. Rock out. Final thoughts.
Yeah, you picked the Arizona running back that's on the Commanders. Could be a midseason monster if he gets in the right spot, like take over from Eckler.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be doing a rookie running back. No, I'll do a sum total rookie sleeper video that's going to have Savion Williams. It'll talk about Tesla. Although Tesla is such a monster to everybody, apparently he's not a sleeper. But Krosky Merritt is a really good player. They call him JCM. Yep. JCM's a very, very, very good player. Jarquez Hunter is a big-time sleeper. We'll talk about Monagai, I think is how you say his name, the Chicago Bear running back. He's a very big sleeper. Yeah. There's a lot of players. Shedeur will be on that list because you can get Shedeur in the 3rd round in a super flex rookie draft. So Monagai is one of those guys as well. Anyway, Kyrie Boston says Smitty is a dictator. In the chat, Kyrie Boston. Yet here you are. If I'm running such a corrupt world over here, why are you here every single day? Dialing in every single day, just living for it, craving for it. And I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying, like, if I'm such a bad man that's running this corrupt ship, what are you even doing here? What are you even doing here? And Gump said he's his agent. You guys you're my Baba Booey. No, you're not even Baba Booey. You're my Beetlejuice, my beat. You're my Beetlejuice and I don't know. High pitch Eric. You're my high pitch Eric and Beetlejuice. There's no doubt about it in my mind. You are my two. This is my whack pack. I have a whack pack. It's unbelievable. These guys hang up the phone, they call each other and talk about the show all night long, arguing. Like, what show has that? No show. Yeah, this dictator has that. Yeah, Agent Smitty.
Yeah, he's Larry from Three Stooges.
Oh man. Okay. Anyway, boys, I'll see you later. Appreciate you. Anything else, real quick? I'll be back tonight for underdog.
You think JCM? You think he would push B-Rob, or you think B-Rob is pretty entrenched there in Washington?
Initially, the one thing I do very badly, promo code Smitty, I just dropped it in the live chat. It's pinned in the live chat. It's also in the description of every video. Promo code Smitty gets it done. Get up to $1,000 in bonus credits by playing underdog with us tonight. We'll be drafting in the Best Bowl Mania, the first Best Bowl Mania. I'm going to date them, the streams, and rename them so I can find them. So when we win, we can reference that live stream. But so the one thing I'm really bad at is that I sometimes get a little too excited about my expectation and my evaluation. This dictator right here. And I think that, a guy is going to do more right away. And that's why even when I end up being right in the case of Chase Brown, in the case of Gibbs, in the case of, a lot of things, sometimes I'm a wee bit early. And it's not that I'm wrong. I'm just my expectation, like Ben Sinnott. I'm not wrong about the talent. I don't know what went awry. I don't know what went awry. But I think that there's a world where we're sitting here so excited about the talent that is JCM, this running back merit in Washington, in the Adam Peters eye for talent, that we're going to expect him to be bigger and better and stronger right away. And it's going to be one of those things where it's like our veteran B-Rob, very good, very much trust him. Kind of like Trey Benson. We knew Trey Benson would be a 5+ yard carry running back in Arizona. and we decided he's going to take over for James Conner a little earlier. That's one thing I'm trying to work on is my expectation with the coaching staff's commitment to players beyond where I would have a commitment still. I would be moving players aside quicker. So I think we curb our expectations. But
I think with B-Rob, like, because he's not an elite fantasy producer, I think that's made some people almost underrate him as an NFL player. And like you said, the trust the team has in certain players, and because he's good. He's a good, solid running back. And teams don't just walk away from guys like that know the system and, have been with the team. So it's a little harder to unseat those guys unless you're truly elite,
Yeah. All right, boys. We'll see you later. Call in tonight. Best Ball Mania, baby.
See you, Rock out. See you, Smitty.
Rock out. Later. All right. Henderson or Judkins, much love. Thank you. Obviously, you're just popping in here, or you would know this answer by a country mile. The answer is Henderson. It's Genty, tier break, Harvey, Henderson, Hampton kind of trio situation going on. Hit that thumb up button, everybody. Appreciate you. Yeah, Kyrie's still complaining. It is. Yeah, as it said right here, by Dark Steel. This is his show, Kyrie. It's not. Sometimes I think people that call in enough, like Kyrie and Gump, they start to feel like it's their show. They start to feel like they have a say. They start to feel like they can just, no matter what, get what they want, or call into the phone line irate, scream and yell, and not get hung up on. Not to mention the red X's get you knocked off the phone line. But anyway, so the trio of Hampton, Henderson, Harvey, they're really close. But Judkins is in a more of a committee that concerns me. He's not even my running back 5, where Henderson could be the running back 2. Okay. We got a few preemptive red X's for Kyrie Boston for next call. People want to make sure they put their vote in now. Okay. Smitty, this is from Johnny777. Can we get your rankings of offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, GMs? I'll try and get on that. That's a harder thing to do before the season's going to come so quick. I'll try and make sure that's on the docket of shows to do. I definitely have like a board of it, but a board that we had, and I got to update it and everything. $5 holler from BBQ says, will the Bucs' new OC affect Bucky's value? In my opinion, I feel like Caleb is a great fit for Smith's system. Could see him finishing top 5 amongst rookies. I don't like Caleb, his situation. We disagree on that, which is fine. BBQ, there's always going to be disagreements. And like I always tell people, I'm in my best year, my best seasons that I've ever had, I'm going to get 25% minimum, and other seasons more than that, 25% of the big calls wrong. I'm not talking about easy stuff like, hey, someone asked me a question like, would you rather have JD5 or Kyler? And I say JD5. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about tough questions, start bench advices 50-50 questions like this question about the Bucs offensive coordinator. I'm getting 25%, like at least locked in wrong of every big thing I say. That's an amazing percentage to hit 75%. So if Caleb's your guy, don't let me influence you. Only let me help you over the fence. If you've got one leg over the fence for Harvey, let me help nudge you over. If you've got one leg over the fence on this, or you're already on the other side with me, then great. I'm confirming for you. But don't ever let me grab you when you're not even close to the fence and throw you over just because I said a guy's going to be good or a guy's going to be bad. I'm going to get stuff wrong. So if you like Caleb, then by all means. I just think he's in a very bad committee, situation that looks a lot cleaner than it is. He's going to be Warren cemented in to third down role. and a big workload. They anointed him the starter. I know things changed, but they anointed him the starter before the draft. Warren's very good. I could see them even saying Warren's our starter and Caleb not being Corum this year, but being a little version of that where everyone's expectations wildly off and they want to run the hell out of Warren still. I don't think that Caleb just walks in. He might be one of those guys similar to what we talked about with Hampton, where the final 8 games we extrapolate that and it looks like a great running back, but we didn't get much in the beginning. So I just think that Warren is a tougher situation than Najee. I think Warren's a tougher because you got a Arthur Smith there as well. I think Warren's a tougher situation than Ramondre. So they're all kind of in committees outside of Harvey and Genty though. 12-man Superflex 0.5 tight end premium dynasty startup. Have JD5 neighbors. Do I go May, Love, Kyler, Purdy, Baker for a QB2 or go Marv, JSN, Brees, Bucky, Hendy type of player? You have JD5 already. I am more of the punt quarterback, especially, and I'm not saying I don't like Drake May. I'm not saying I don't like Kyler or whatever, but I'd rather have a Fields and, Dak or one of these guys falls a lot later. I don't take a quarterback here. I'm very much you take a quarterback in round 1 and then you go back to normal drafting for as long as you can. And I think you could probably pull it off and just make sure you grab a player as soon as you can. I would take Bucky. I'd take Bucky, or I would take, Genty's obviously gone. I'd take Hampton or Bucky or Hendy and then leave Harvey because Harvey's obviously underrated. And especially in a dynasty startup, his age is going to bother people. So grab Harvey later for sure. But I'm taking Bucky or Hampton here. But I'd probably go Bucky, bro. But Hampton's really nice there. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Promo code Smitty as we speak. Harvey's blasting up the ADP, being taken earlier and earlier. Get him while you still can. I know. I got to do some underdog drafts tonight before Harvey climbs in the round 3 or some crap like that. It's going to get really ugly. Looking at the chat real quickly, and Kyrie Boston's blasting the chat. Haters for this. I know you haters for this. What are you talking about? Did Kyrie have to take a big lap? Yeah, he's going a little crazy. Smitty don't like me. Kyrie Boston, you're running on the. I already had this conversation with you, and I was pretty abundant. I was pretty brutally honest with you. I said, look, you are gonna have, just based on your personality type, are going to have some run-ins. You called in on my phone line before, which really kind of put you in bad light, where you were, not in your right headspace. You were, I don't know what you were doing, but you were definitely not your normal self. You called in and started talking out of your rear end and saying some things on my phone line that you shouldn't have been saying, so I hung up on you. I decided to give you a second chance, like the gracious person I am, and here you are bad-mouthing me in the chat because you get hung up on because you overtalk and you don't listen. And you always think you're right. And so you come in here and you start running your mouth about me in the chat, and you think, you think I'm going to start answering the phone line for you? I already told you, don't take getting hung up on personally. It's part of your personality, and we can only take so much, Kyrie Boston. My views tank if I keep you on just the right amount. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. I know what in the hell I'm doing. I've been doing this a long time. I know just the right amount of Kyrie Boston. And once you get past that tipping point and the people like it, they hear it, but then they want to get out of it. They don't want to hear you anymore. So I hang up on you. You get to call in. You're calling in more than anybody else. You get to be a part of the show, and yet you're complaining in the live chat. You're complaining. So maybe I just won't answer your phone call anymore. How's that? How about I don't answer your phone call anymore? Should I pull up the phone line and block your 2 numbers? Because right now, you're not doing yourself any favors, and you're not taking this getting hung up on like you said you were going to when I told you on the phone. When you called in one time, when the show wasn't even going, I go, Kyrie, I'm just going to tell you, I got to go live here. I'm just going to tell you this.
At the front door.
Oh, man. I gotta unlock the door. Hold on a second. I bolted the door on Miss Smitty. She couldn't get in. Sitting at the door on the camera, I could see her going. Anyway. I'm mad because I'm right. Kyrie Boston, I'm going to give you one last chance to stop. And you can call me a dictator. You can call me whatever you want. But I'm going to give you one last chance to stop. Stop. Or I won't answer your phone call anymore. It's that simple. But you're so hard-headed about it. You just go on and 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 on. And I'm going to hang up on you when the audience is tired of it. And it's in your personality to be like Gump, a little overwhelming. And so we have a quick trigger to get you off the phone line. That's just the way it's going to be. And I've heard that Gump gets that way sometimes too. You guys both got to get over it. Get over it or don't call in. Did Smitty go over the news today? Yes, I did, show. Go watch the rest of it. Appreciate you all. I'll see you all later. Harvey is not only a Saturn man.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
He is a Nova.
There are handfuls of Saturn, Mars, and Moon men, but only 8 can be supernovas. I give you the 8 best picks in fantasy football.
They are the 8 supernovas. They are the 8 supernovas. The hateful 8 supernovas. I'm looking at the 8 supernovas. The magnificent 8.
Liftoff of mission 41D, the first flight of the orbiter Discovery, and the shuttle has...
Yeah, Gump, Travis makes a good point. Kind of proud of Gump. Gump is taking it, in a way that, like, he doesn't get as upset anymore. He's understanding that he's going to be a little overwhelming. So Gump gets hung up on, he comes right back without any sort of, Gump, keep doing that. Don't do what Kyrie's doing here. Do what you're doing. You get hung up on, you accept your role. You know that you can be a little overwhelming sometimes. For some reason, Kyrie in the moment can't see that. He can't see that. He doesn't. Later on, he goes, I watched the show. Can I tell you how many times Kyrie's told me, I went back and watched the show. I'm sorry. I didn't realize what I was saying. I didn't understand what you were saying. And it's like, there's only so much of that, Kyrie, that someone's going to take. It's just over and over and over. Like, just understand your role. You get hung up on, try again tomorrow. Don't bring up the same topic, but just call in tomorrow. Clean slate. I don't know what's so hard about that. And I've even told you that. You aren't really good at 3 X's. You are really good at agent. You are really good at agent. Thank you. Smitty, you know what you're the best at? Agent. Agent. He didn't say being an agent or you be a real good agent. You know what you'd be, Smitty? A real good agent. He goes, you know what you're good at? I'm not even an agent. I don't do anything that is like an agent. So when someone says, you know what you are? Agent. I don't even know what that means. I really honestly don't even have a clue. Yeah, Travis definitely nailed it. Gump takes it in stride. Gump is like a gazelle. You might knock him over and he'll roll and fall down and hit a fence. And his head will go through a fence of barbed wire. But then he gets up and he starts galloping a little slowly, kind of dusts himself off. He's limping a little bit. But then by the time he gets to like his 4th or 5th stride, he's back. Gump's ready. And then he falls down again. Gets back up. Gump is a gazelle. Gump the gazelle. Be back tonight to draft on Underdog, promo code Smitty. We'll be back to draft on Underdog, promo code Smitty. Hit the link that's pinned in the live chat. Code Smitty gets it done. We're going to be drafting on Best Ball Mania tonight. Can't wait to see you all there. Appreciate you. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Live when big news breaks. Kyrie, you can even call the phone line right now.